From isolating himself from friends and family to his radical weight loss, Oppenheimer has destroyed Cillian Murphy. Here's why. Sometimes, actors take on roles that are so deep and complex, preparing for them can take a serious toll. Delving into the minds of characters, immersing yourself in their lives and experiences so you can accurately play them on screen can be hugely challenging. In the upcoming Christopher Nolan film, Oppenheimer, Cillian Murphy undertakes the formidable task of bringing J. Robert Oppenheimer, the brilliant physicist and father of the atomic bomb, to life. This role demanded meticulous preparation and a thorough understanding of Oppenheimer's multifaceted personality and the historical context surrounding his life's work. In this video, we will explore the immense challenges that Murphy faced while preparing for the role of Oppenheimer. From capturing his intellectual genius to grappling with the moral implications of his scientific contributions. As one of the people crucial to the creation of the atomic bomb, Oppenheimer grappled with the fact that he was in no small way responsible for the deaths of thousands. More distressing was the realization that he had ushered in the atomic age, and that the Manhattan Project may eventually lead the world to ruin. For the decades that followed the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the world was held in the grip of the Cold War and the threat of nuclear annihilation. It was due to Oppenheimer's scientific contribution that the human race came to the very brink of extinction, and this weighed heavily on the man for the rest of his life. This kind of guilt and horror is something that few people could ever really comprehend, so it's no wonder that Murphy's preparation for the role has put a lot of strain on him. To accurately portray J. Robert Oppenheimer, Cillian Murphy embarked on a journey to comprehend the intricate workings of his brilliant mind. Oppenheimer was a man of immense intelligence and complexity, with interests ranging from physics to philosophy. Murphy immersed himself in Oppenheimer's writings, scientific papers, and personal correspondence, striving to grasp his thought processes and inner conflicts. Understanding Oppenheimer's role in the development of the atomic bomb and his subsequent remorse became paramount to the actor's preparation. Murphy consulted with experts, historians, and scientists to gain insights into Oppenheimer's scientific achievements and the ethical dilemmas he faced. He studied the Manhattan Project, the top-secret World War II research project that led to the creation of the atomic bomb, to fully comprehend the historical context. This extensive research enabled Murphy to authentically portray Oppenheimer's brilliance, while capturing the immense moral weight that burdened him throughout his life. But this emotional burden led Murphy to isolate himself from the rest of the cast. His co-stars Emily Blunt and Matt Damon, who play Oppenheimer's wife Kitty and Leslie Groves respectively, have spoken in interviews about how Murphy would distance himself from his fellow actors. Blunt began by talking about a specific incident that happened during a break from filming. "We were all in the same hotel in the middle of the New Mexican desert. We only had each other. Me and Matt were roommates and we were like, let's go to have dinner." Murphy, however, did not attend because the sheer volume of what he had to take on and shoulder is so monumental. Damon then jumped in by saying, of course he didn't want to come and have dinner with us. He couldn't. His brain was just too full. While Murphy has enjoyed significant success as an actor for many years, this starring role in a Christopher Nolan film is by far his highest profile role yet. The fact that he is leading a major production, as well as playing an important historical figure, has no doubt put a huge amount of pressure on the actor. He said so himself in an interview with People. "You know that when you have those big roles, that responsibility, you feel it's kind of overwhelming." Oppenheimer was known for his introspective nature and tendency towards solitude. To authentically portray this aspect of Oppenheimer's personality, Murphy deliberately distanced himself from the rest of the cast during the preparation process. By immersing himself in Oppenheimer's solitude, Murphy was able to tap into the physicist's introspective mindset and internal struggles. This isolation allowed him to channel Oppenheimer's deep contemplation and the weight of his scientific achievements and their consequences. Murphy drew inspiration from Oppenheimer's renowned quote, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds," capturing the solitude and existential contemplation that underscored the physicist's life and work. By immersing himself in Oppenheimer's isolation, Murphy was able to tap into the character's emotional complexity and the weight of his moral dilemmas. This allowed him to channel the inner turmoil and conflicting emotions that Oppenheimer experienced, providing a nuanced portrayal that resonated with the character's isolation and internal struggles. Moreover, Murphy's isolation allowed him to establish a sense of distance from his co-stars, mirroring the character dynamics within the film. Oppenheimer's role in the Manhattan Project and his strained relationships with colleagues created an atmosphere of tension and isolation, which Murphy sought to authentically convey by maintaining a certain emotional distance from his fellow actors. It's also worth pointing out that Murphy has had to undergo a significant physical transformation to look more like the famous physicist. Murphy has had to lose a fair amount of weight in order to capture Oppenheimer's frail physique. This is often an incredibly difficult kind of regime that often involves reducing one's food intake so as to start burning fat. Murphy is definitely looking more gaunt than he normally does. No doubt this was a creative choice to highlight the significant physical toll that emotional stress can place on the body. Despite all of the considerable strain of the role, Murphy is clearly ecstatic at the prospect of leading a Nolan film. The pair have collaborated together on 6 films over the past 2 decades, all 3 of the Dark Knight trilogy: Inception, Dunkirk, and now Oppenheimer. In an interview with the Associated Press, Murphy revealed that the pair really enjoy a close professional and personal relationship. "I have always said publicly and privately to Chris that if I'm available and you want me to be in a movie, I'm there. I don't really care about the size of the part, but deep down, secretly, I was desperate to play a lead for him." Well, it turns out that all of Murphy's hard work paid off, as he was offered the role directly from Nolan himself. He's so understated and self-deprecating, and in his very English manner, just said, "Listen, I've written this script. It's about Oppenheimer. I'd like you to be my Oppenheimer. It was a great day. We have this long-standing understanding and trust and shorthand and respect. It felt like the right time to take on a bigger responsibility. And it just so happened that it was a huge one." Murphy is clearly a talented and dedicated actor who is able to fully immerse himself in his work. It's important to note, however, that his Dark Knight co-star Heath Ledger famously immersed himself so thoroughly in the role of the Joker that it had significant impacts on his mental well-being. He became isolated from his friends, family, and colleagues. The mental strain that Ledger put on himself throughout the process also led to him unable to sleep. This, coupled with the medications he was taking to keep himself stable, was a major factor in his accidental overdose. That's not to say that Murphy is necessarily relying on similar methods to cope with the psychological stress of playing Oppenheimer. Just that Ledger's should be a real cautionary tale for him moving forward. No role is worth your life. Hopefully, Oppenheimer will not prove to be a permanently damaging role for Murphy going forward. However, only time will tell. Cillian Murphy's isolation from the rest of the cast during the preparation for Oppenheimer played a significant role in his portrayal of the enigmatic physicist. By immersing himself in Oppenheimer's world and channeling his solitude, Murphy captured the introspection, emotional complexity, and moral dilemmas that define the character. His deliberate separation from the cast allowed him to create a focused environment where he could deeply understand and embody Oppenheimer's experiences without distractions. Through this isolation, Murphy achieved a portrayal that not only authentically captured the historical figure, but also enhanced the sense of isolation and emotional depth within the film. In fact, Nolan has gone so far as to call Oppenheimer a horror film, which really makes you wonder what Murphy has had to go through in order to accurately portray Oppenheimer. So there you have it. From isolating himself from friends and family to his radical weight loss, that is how Oppenheimer has destroyed Cillian Murphy.